The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
What's going on, guys? Welcome again to the Backup podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Nguyen. A special guest joins me for this one. Her name is Audrie Naranjo, a graduate of San Jose State University. She is currently a referee for the United States Soccer Federation, and she does a bunch of stuff as well that we'll dive into, and you will see for yourself. We talked about soccer, the career that she's pursuing, and just many more things. And just to keep in mind, part of the recording was corrupted in the process, so I had to edit a few things out. So the first thing we talked about was her journey to become a referee, and we went from there. So we hope you enjoy it. We'll be back with you next week to talk some NFL stuff. Obviously, we have the conference championships going on, so at the time of this posting, it will be before the conference championship games between the Ravens and the Chiefs. And then we have the Lions and the 49ers. So we hope you enjoy those games. Hope you enjoy this interview with Audrie. And we hope to see you guys next week. And we'll break down all the NFL games and many more surprises, I guess. So thank you so much. And let's get right into the episode. Enjoy. Thank you very much.
I want to shift our focus here to you because you're a referee. And let's face it, we all, when it comes to refs, they get a lot of criticism. A lot of criticism. We've seen.
You don't have to be nice. You don't have to be nice. I'm used to people not being nice to me.
I know you're a great ref. I know you are personally, but when it comes to the sport of football or basketball or baseball, every single day there's always something when it comes to referees and the calls they make. So what made you go into the referee department? And I mean, like I saw, I should say, you work for the United States Soccer Federation. That's obviously a big thing. So how did you get there? It seems like it was kind of fast how you got to that point, if I'm not mistaken.
I know it seems that way. It actually really wasn't. My dad actually got me into it. Literally as soon as
out to Pops.
Yeah. He's been a huge figure to my upbringing, my childhood, my mentality, the way that I move. My mom as well. She's always been such a great, she's been the woman that's held me down. I hope to one day be half the woman that she is. But my dad was really the one who got me into it because he's super passionate about soccer. That is his number one favorite sport. He lives, cries, he would die for it, truly. And he's been doing it since he was in his 20s, kind of a generational thing. So his dad, my grandfather, also was a referee. So kind of carried on the tradition here and I got into it as soon as I possibly could at 12 years old. Got my license as soon as I could, my official license from the United States Soccer Federation at 13 years old. And I've been doing that since then, every season, every year. All the things. I really liked it because, one, I got to make money as a 13-year-old, in middle school, and at this time, I just had, little U8, U10s, recreational leagues. I looked like a whole adult chasing after little children. And it was super fun and I really liked it and I kept at it. And, before I knew, I was, 14, 15 years old, reffing these state cup U8, U10 boys matches. And it kind of just grew and it grew and it grew. And I did it every year. I started doing travel as soon as I could, around 15, 16-ish years old. And then the thing about high school refereeing is that you can't be a high school soccer official until you graduate high school yourself. So I didn't get into that until I graduated high school. But even before then, I was always the little girl, chasing after my dad at halftime to go give him a Gatorade. as he was reffing, and he was reffing like high school soccer at the time, the varsity boys, and like this big rivalry and everything. And like, I always wanted to be the one who was there and just be like, yeah, like my dad's important. Like, and so that was kind of something that like drew me to the sport, and not just the sport. I also played in high school. I was a tri-sport athlete: water polo, soccer, and swimming. I can admittedly say that I can't admittedly say
tell
that.
you.
Sorry, I just dropped that one in there.
No, I was gonna say like, holy kid, because for me, look, playing football for me, it was a blast. It's always been my first love, right? And then I also ran track and field. But you said soccer. I heard water polo, and that's already grueling as it is. I had a couple of friends who played that sport in high school, so I was like, okay, I know that's grueling. You mentioned, what was the other one?
Swimming.
Man, I tell you, was there a fourth one?
No.
Okay, it was just three. Okay, I mean, I was gonna say there's a fourth one. I'm leaving because wow, holy cow! I'm telling you, the fact 3 sports.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I can admittedly say though that I am a much better referee than I am a soccer player.
Okay.
I think a big part of that had to do with, I guess, kind of like the team, the girls around the area. Like there wasn't like a really like solid like travel team or like, you know, somebody that you grew up with. Luckily for me though, in swimming and in water polo, we all grew up together, the entire team, like our siblings, us, like from when we were 4, 5, 6 years old, learning how to swim, you know, at our recreational small town swim team. We all grew up, and as we were growing up, well, we all got into swimming competitively. And then at the high school level, when we all met up and we're all, we know, within the same ages, like we really took off in that sense. And that was kind of like, that was more my bigger focus in high school, was water polo and swimming. I was a better swimmer. Or I liked swimming more than I liked water polo, even though, you know, I really enjoyed water polo as well. So I think that's where my lack of true love and dedication to soccer as a player kind of came from. But the thing is that I love it because I love the sport because I'm still around it. I just don't have to play it.
There you go. See, it's less grueling in a way because you're not practicing as you used to. You're not having to deal with certain schedules or certain diets in a way. Even I know obviously you keep yourself fit as it is, but obviously as an athlete you have to take care of different things and think about different things, and it's all just a stressful experience. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. I can't swim personally, so I'm screwed anyways. If I were to participate on those sports, so. I really can't. Like I took swimming lessons when I was a kid, and that did not work. So
okay,
yeah,
you need to get back in the water then.
Yeah, put me in the deep end, and we're gonna have some problems. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
no. So refereeing wise, is it tough? I mean, do you get yelled at times, or is it pretty calm? Am I just overestimating it? Because based off what I've seen on TV, you guys get a lot of criticism. But are you getting yelled at on a constant basis, or are you the one that's, a lot of people or fans, I should say, like when they're reffing the games that they're watching?
Yeah, definitely a very tough skin job. Name another job that you can actively yell at this person and tell them how bad of a job they're doing, or how they don't know what they're doing, or getting yelled at or cussed at, or ultimately disrespected at times. I think even as like male officials have it one way, and I think female officials have it a little bit harder, if I'm being honest. There's been a lot that I've dealt with as a female official. On top of just being a referee, you're always kind of like the hated person for whatever reason. Everyone just wants to tell you everything that you're doing wrong, and you don't know this, and you don't know that, and you know this rule, and it's just like, no, like I studied the rule book. Like, I know what I'm doing. I've been around the sport for a long time, and I've had multiple games, multiple experiences. But I think just like the players, right? We're all bound to make mistakes. I think that's being a human. That's natural. I can't ever think of the last time I had a perfect game, right? And I think that's the same thing to say as far as like an athlete too. Like whether you trip, whether you fall, whether your shoelace comes untied, or whether you miss a very important PK, you messed up as a player. But in a lot of ways, well, referees do too. Yeah, I might have not seen that call. Yeah, I might have called it this way instead of going that way on a throw in. Now I obviously try my best not to, and I try to, actively communicate with my team and be as close to the spot and make the correct call, to the best of my ability always. But of course, like, we're humans and human error is involved in that. I think also a big part of, the criticism is also like how fast we can make a call. It's literally like, unless you want to run around the field with a whistle in your mouth, like, it's not going to happen immediately. Like, I have to look at what's happening, see it as it's happening, process it, think about, okay, is it this way, and then bring the whistle up to my mouth and then blow the whistle, make the call, go on from there. And that all happens within maybe less than a second, right? But it's like, if you just think just slightly slower and a player's already on the ground after they've fallen, it's like, ref. And I'm like, I'm getting there. Relax.
I'm getting there.
I'm getting there. Just give me a second. Like, yeah, I think I do take a lot of criticism, but I think now it's just become something that, as long as it's not completely disrespectful to me, the person, or me, the official, then I don't let things bother me.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that you're making split decisions like in a snap is just like, I think a lot of us just fail to realize how tough being a referee is. I mean, every time you watch a sporting event, including myself, I ain't gonna lie to you, there's many times where I'm like, okay, a call should have been made here. There's a foul here, and here, but they're not calling it, or they're missing it and stuff like that. So yeah, like you mentioned, just human error is just part of the game. Whether you're an athlete or you're watching it as a referee, it's a lot to consider. And the fact that not just you, but a lot of people out there who are, instead of wanting to play the sport, they just want to just referee the sport. I guess is the best way to say it. It's just kind of not rare in a way, but it's just good to see, because we need more refs in all sports, whether it is soccer or football or basketball, or whatever the case may be. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't doubt that you do a good job, but I just hope people don't criticize you as much, because I know you do a heck of a job.
Oh yeah. I obviously, like I said, like, I do always try to do my best. I am one of those referees that I'm very clear from the beginning. My expectations are set. However, every game is different, right? And I do have to adapt, my demeanor. My demeanor isn't the same as when I'm officiating a varsity boys game as opposed to a JV girls game. It's completely different, right? Girls game, boys game, level, type. You have to also consider, like, the opponents. Is there some type of rivalry? Is there some type of beef? Is there some type of something that I don't know? Or is there this trash talk? Or is there this, like, we're undefeated, they're undefeated, so somebody's going to lose today? Like, you have to keep those things in mind, and honestly, even, like, do your research prior to the game and see, like, okay, what could I potentially predict this game is going to look like, and how am I going to do that or how am I going to handle that to the best of my ability, and also communicate that with my team, in terms of making the right calls and getting the players under control and all of these things. So I think there's a lot to consider that comes from being a referee, and I don't think people see that as much. And lately I've tried my best to kind of show that side of a referee to the world. Over in late December, right before Christmas, I was on my way to a game, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to film a day in my life. And I did it, and I didn't know how it was going to go. I kind of just showed, like, hey, like, I show up, at this time, and I get ready, and I do this, and we get mic'd up, and we're getting ready for the game, and I call captains, and this is the pregame. Like, I'm ultimately just showing the world that, like, yes, there's intention, like, there is a process to this. Just as these teams show up and they get ready to warm up and they get ready and they're playing their music, they're getting in their space. Like, so are we as officials. I think that that's something that just isn't, there's not much light shed on that. And that's also what I'm trying to do, especially like as a female official, because, well, granted, there already aren't many.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
So,
yeah, no, definitely. If y'all haven't already, follow Audrie at Audrie's .fit for the day in the life. I've seen it. And yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, oh boy, yeah, this schedule's kind of, we gotta, just admire how just a day in the life of not just a referee that you are, but just as a person, because you're dealing with other stuff, and the fact you have to get ready to deal with an important sporting event, just like I said in the beginning, just factoring everything into one. It's stressful, but at the same time, it just seems like you're having fun doing, and that's what we want.
Definitely. I think it's something that, like, even right now within like the high school soccer season, I get off of work at 4:00 or 4:30, depending on what time my game is. And I get to my game at, 5:30, 5:00, 6:00, start that game. And sometimes, well, most of the time I have two games. So, say I have a 5:00 and a 7:00 game back to back. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm done at like 8:30, but depending on where, I went to, where I traveled to, I'm probably not getting home to like 9:00, 9:30 sometimes, on really late days. And I still have to shower and I still eat, and then I go to sleep, and I do go to my job, do it all over again. It's kind of, it can be kind of taxing sometimes, but obviously, because I'm very into like athletics, fitness, all those things, it does alleviate some of that, physical, I guess, stress, or it allows me to, still be physically fit and physically active while, getting paid to do it and enjoying the sport and the atmosphere that high school sports are. So, yeah.
Exactly. And you got to find time to do decompress too. So I hope, whether it's when you get home or before you head to work or in between, I hope you do find time to decompress or just relax, because, I mean, with the busy life that you have, I just hope you have some time to just chill, I guess is the right thing to say.
I do try my best. I try my best every now and then. I try to keep my weekends pretty, minimal. Sundays are the days where I just dedicate nothing. Like, I actively, I can't do anything on Sundays. Like, I literally can't, because I deserve at least one day to do nothing but watch movies and sit and relax and not care about anything that's going on outside of my actual physical present world.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a 6-day work week for you. Like, you're always doing something from Monday to Saturday, and then Sunday is just like just a chill day, I guess is what we would call it.
My self-care day.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, I think we all need one of those days. Even if it's not just one day or two, it's just, life's tough. It really is. And even if we're not dealing with sports, there's always, college or school or our jobs, whatever the case may be. We all need one of those, just not alone days, but just days to ourselves, where we can just, like you said, just do nothing, or just relax, or just, put something on the TV and just sit on the couch and just relax. So definitely understand.
I will be a couch potato all day, every day, Sundays.
Exactly. That's all we wish for.
Yeah, those are the days I plan to not even lift a finger. Like, gym, never heard of her. Activity, never heard of her. Like, never heard of it. Nope.
Never.
I'm sitting, laying down
what's
in
the
my
gym?
bed.
It's like, wait, what's soccer refereeing again? Like, there's
I've heard of that.
You mentioned the gym, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first, we got to shout out one of our sponsors here on the show. SeatGeek, as we all know, Audrie does ref soccer games that we just discussed just now. And look, as fans, we want to get the best deals when it comes to ticket prices or tickets in general, or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to hand it over to my guy, Ryan, who has a message about SeatGeek, and we'll get back to you guys in 30 seconds.
Hey, everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
Yeah, when I think of Bay Area games to go to, obviously we think of the 49ers who are playing right now as we're recording, or the San Jose Earthquakes. And I feel like you've worked there before. I've seen you there. I think you've worked there. I feel like I'm saying like the most dumbest stuff. I may be wrong. I feel like I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm right at the same time.
No, you're not.
Cool. I was like, yes, I got something right for once.
Yeah. The Earthquakes. At PayPal Park. I was there. I started working there January, February of 2022.
Okay.
And then I worked all the way up until September of 2023. I was an event ambassador there with the Earthquakes. So essentially showing up on game days, overlooking patio suites, making sure that guests had a great experience, ticketing every now and then, and just ultimately just making sure that like everyone there who showed up to the games, anyone who needed anything, the guests, sometimes players, I was the person, and me along with a lot of other people who worked there that just made sure everything happened. It was a great experience. It was really cool to, always be kind of right along the field or right field and see, greatness kind of happen sometimes. The past season they had a really, really great season. They were really on the come up. I want to say they won almost every home game. I think they lost one. But it was really great to even just be in the atmosphere, and like anytime that they did win, it was just like a really, really, great, the positive lifting vibes of just like hearing everything go off and everyone cheer and like seeing the replay and like seeing it later, like on Instagram and being like, I was right there. Like I was there.
Yeah.
I was a little sweet right there. The one that's right there, that was me. Like I was there. And so it was really dope. And even like working, in the Earthquakes at PayPal Park, we also worked with other opportunities. We had an international friendly match this summer. And for whatever cool reason, I was one of the, that day I was working, one of the people who kind of like stood by and an injury happened. An injury did happen, and I was one of the people who got to carry this player off on the stretcher off the field. And that was really cool. Me along with like 4 other people. And it was an experience of a lot. Like I was like, I didn't know I was going to do this today, but like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I think another one of my more memorable moments at PayPal Park, and it was right before I left in July. The women's national team, they had their last match right before they went off to the Women's World Cup. So seeing Alex Morgan 30 feet away from me was really insane, and seeing those really big time, female soccer players, I was shook. I was in awe. I didn't want to do my job. Like I just wanted to watch the game. I wanted to see these like amazing women just do their thing right before they went off to the World Cup. So that experience was one of the best ones. I think PayPal Park that day was sold out completely. Something that hadn't happened in a while. It was a great experience. It allowed me to gain a little bit more insight in terms of like professional sports and how they're ran and how many layers there are to allowing the team to just be and allowing the players to just do their thing. There is a lot that comes with professional sports. So yeah, that was a little bit of my experience working with the San Jose Earthquakes.
Yeah. I, for myself, I've been to a few games mostly, or especially this past season, gone to a few, whether it was the one at Levi Stadium or against LAFC, or if it was the one, or the ones that were at PayPal Park. I went to a few of those as well, and it's just for me. Well, first off, it may be a small venue, but it's like the atmosphere. It's very welcoming, I guess, is the right way to say it, but also just it's a fun experience because there's just so many people that are just like they're so into it. And when
Oh yeah.
obviously when someone scores a goal, it gets loud and crazy, but like the fans that were around me as well, they were just they were so into it. They were yelling if the refs missed something, or something, a penalty happened, or the case may be. It's just PayPal Park was just it's a place that I'll never forget. And hopefully next season they do well. When you mentioned their success this past season, I was trying to remember about the whole, when they're at home, they're usually pretty good. I think you're correct. I mean, I'm not not the one to ask. I just go to the games, and if they win, that's great. For me, the most important thing for me is that as long as they win when I'm there, that's what matters.
Right.
Because I don't mean to shift this to baseball, but I've been to more Oakland Athletics games than I ever thought I would in my life. And it seems like every time we go there as a family, or just with friends or whatever the case may be, they suck. So I think they've ruined the sports experience for me. There was a point in time where because I'm not how do I say it? I'm not an A's fan, but it's cool to go to the games because I have my favorite baseball team is from Philadelphia, the Phillies. So when they came to town, they beat the crap out of the A's, which was nice. But then there was the day where after the game, we went to the Earthquakes game after. And I was like, well, crap, we're going to double dip. We're going from one game to the other in a span of 3 hours. And it's like, oh, crap, we're going to be tired. But we went to the game regardless at the Earthquakes game. I think they were playing the Timbers on the day that I went.
Mm-hmm.
They tied. So I guess they didn't lose, but I hate ties. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. I don't understand. Like, I get it. Like we talked about in the beginning, I'm a football guy. So I usually, if there's a tie at the end of the game, going to overtime. I know at some points in soccer, there's extra time or there's penalty kicks, but like, Audrie, I can't do ties.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, there's something that even, sometimes I will admit that us the officials, we dread ties because we're just like, I don't want to go to overtime. We don't get paid for the overtime. Like we don't, like if not, like I'm at this point, somebody score. Like somebody just score. Somebody score. Like, or somebody do something really dumb that that causes something else to happen, so somebody else scores or something. Like I think ties are one of those things that are always kind of tricky to kind of just understand and be like, what do you mean we ended in a tie? Like you can't tell me we're just as good. Like there has to be a winner. I think a big part of like games and sports and competitive levels is just like, I didn't come here to just not win. I came here to win.
Yeah, exactly. Like as a fan, you go to a game, right? And you want to go, you want to go back to your friends and family and say, oh yeah, I saw them win, or oh, I saw them lose, but it's fine. But you don't want to go back to them and say, oh yeah, they tied. It's like, there's no fun. Look, I'm not the one to like change or make any changes to the rules or anything, but I'm just saying for MLS or the NWSL, if I got that correctly, if there's a tie after 90 minutes, just go to PKs. I love PK. I love penalty kicks. That's like the for me, it's entertaining to see because just like you miss one and you're kind of screwed from what I've seen. So I don't know. I love penalty kicks. I don't like even screw the extra time. Just go right to penalty kicks.
I think it's really.
I don't understand extra time either. I don't understand the extra time. Like I was going to ask you that before we get to your fitness journey, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there. My apologies, but I just have to know, how in the world is extra time determined? Like, how do you?
I mean, it varies, right? Like the only reason we'll, for the most part, go in a like overtime It certainly like depends on like the game, the level, the tournament, the league, those kind of things. But it's so weird because it's always one of those things when you know that you're going to go into extra time or you have to go to extra time if you are tied. It's like something, it's a new rule every time that you show up somewhere. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so are we going to do, 10 minutes of like full play? Like it doesn't matter, who scores first or who does what. Like, is that how it's going to be? Or is it going to be like golden goal wins? So, 2
Yeah.
5-minute periods and whoever scores first wins. Right. And then it's kind of
Yeah.
just like, okay, well, then if we're still tied in even after golden goal or even after extra time, now we go to PKs. Now it's just like, okay, well, another 20 minutes of just going back and forth. But I think I can agree with you. Like I'm one of those people that loves to watch PKs because there's such high pressure situations. And ultimately it's just like who has the best luck, which team, which player. I always dreaded it as a player because it was a high pressure thing. It was just like, okay, I'm either going to be, the most loved person on the team, or this is going to hurt a lot. And even though my teammates don't want to tell me it's my fault, maybe it was my fault that I missed and I didn't get to do it. And I didn't, do all those things. And of course there are different, players and opponents and things like that it's not always necessarily on me, but it's always just like, this is the time that it matters most and I have to execute. If not, I'm not going to be okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think for me, I just feel bad for the goalkeepers because it's like it's looking at the as you know, it's looking at the soccer goal, right? There's the top left corner, middle right corner, and then the bottom right, bottom left. And a goalie, for me, from how I see it, and I hope you see it the same way. It's like you just don't know. Like you just gotta guess. Like you can look at the player's footing or how they set themselves up before they kick it, but it's just like it's just for me. I feel like it's just like a lucky guess. Like if you guess right, good. If not, it's just so tough. I feel like as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I literally don't know how they do it. I don't know how a goalkeeper even goal keeps. Like I don't know like how that even makes like it is. I mean, a lot of people say like, oh, like it's just a 50-50 chance. Like even if you guess the right side, like it's still like you let not to say that you let the ball go through, but it's just like the ball went through even though you had your fingertips on it, or even though you did guess the right side, or any of those things. And I think I don't know. I don't know how goalkeepers do it. I think it's just like maybe it's a feeling that only goalkeepers get. But I'm not. I don't know. I give them all the props because I could never.
Yeah. Don't. I couldn't play goalkeeper. Put me on striker, we'll be all right. I'm a guy that loves to score.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Audrey. I don't play defense.
Oh no.
No. Okay, hear me out. So like, okay. How do I say it? I'm not trying to be cocky. Okay, I'm really not. I promise. Like when I've matched up against other people from a speed standpoint, I'm pretty fast, right?
Okay.
And I guess whether it is football or basketball, like I played before, or soccer to an extent when I was young, my speed was the only thing that stood out. But I just always wanted to score. Like I didn't want to go back and play no defense. Like I wanted someone else can do that. And they can just give me the ball and I'll go. But I don't gonna play no defense. Like I love to score. So when it comes to soccer, for me, striker is kind of the best position for me. I don't know what you played exactly.
Oh yeah.
When were you striker? I feel like you were. I can't
see.
I
was actually. I was a left forward because I was left footed, or I am left footed.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was the same thing. I wanted to make all the goals. I wanted to, be like the hero of the team and do all those things. But, in terms of soccer and positioning and all those things, I can't be a defender. Like I mean, I get so ambitious and so like I just want to score. That I'm just
exactly.
Like, I don't want to like just wait for somebody to come up to me and then like do my best to not allow them through. Like that's just I get you for sure on that one.
I totally understand. Yeah, like and this might be, unrelated to it, but me and some of my good buddies, we play video games. Not as much as we do now, but I would say a year ago, for example, right? We love playing the FIFA video game, right? And
Right.
there's a mode, I'm not sure if you heard of it, but it's called Pro Clubs. You have your own player and you play a certain position and you rock with it and you win as a team, lose a team, whatever the case may be. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like I mentioned, I was always striker, or I wanted to be striker, and in the video game, I was always the striker, along with one of my other buddies. But of course, there's times where you gotta like take turns in a way, have someone else play the striker position, and you hang back. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I have to play like a midfield or a defender, which I've done a few times in that video game, even though it's not the same as actually playing it, like you mentioned, you're just waiting. Like you're just back. You can't be in the front because you're in the front on the counterattack, you're screwed. So you just gotta wait. And I'm just like, it's like I'm not pressing any buttons on the controller. Like I'm just like just waiting.
Yeah.
So, which look, that what I just said may be completely unrelated to like actually playing the sport. I just wanted to bring it up because that's the closest I've gotten to soccer when it comes to actually playing it since I was young. But so I wanted to bring it up. I can't play defense. Midfield, nah, just put me on the wing. Like either put me on the wing or in the strike position. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Just put me in the front and we'll be all right. That's all I gotta say in terms of that. But my last question to you is, and this is something I admire the most about you. Seriously, I think obviously you mentioned it recently that you're not posting as much, but you're once a day going to the gym, and we're not talking just one straight month. We're not talking 3 months. We're not talking 6. We're not talking 12. We're talking, I think, 2 years, right? Is the streak that you're on at this point?
Yeah.
I may be mistaken. First off, holy crap. Second, I just don't know how. I mean, there has to be days where you're like, you just don't want to go.
Right.
But you still go. How did this even start?
Yeah, so the days, I think it's probably like one of the most not controversial, but the most asked thing about my Instagram whenever, I was posting about it. It was the little, like 500 out of 600, 563 out of 600. And it was just like this number and like a gym boomerang every time that I went. That started in October of 2020. Because the pandemic happened and because we got sent home and all of these things, I wasn't into athletics. I wasn't into the gym that whole freshman year of college for me, because I was like, I've dedicated the past 12 years of my life to athletics. I just want a year without, very little to none. Yeah. And then pandemic happened, and obviously like we were all stuck at home doing those things. And then I started to realize, okay, like I'm not as active or fit or, physically pleased with myself. So in October of 2020, I decided I'm going to go to the gym. And I'm going to go to the gym for 100 days straight without missing anything, or I'm going to do some type of activity, some type of physical something, a workout at home, stretching, something to get myself back in the habit of doing physical fitness and activities. So I started going to the gym, and I was like, okay, but I need something that's going to hold me accountable. And at the time, that's what it was. It was, I'm going to post either a selfie, a boomerang, whatever it was, to my Instagram story and post it every single day that I go, or, have some type of physical activity. So there were a lot of like workout from homes because, COVID times, gym was closing, they were open, they were closed, all of those things. But that was just a way to keep me accountable. So for 100 days straight, I did some type of physical activity. Sometimes it was gym, running a mile. It was just stretching. It was home workouts. And then I got to the point where whenever I accomplished 100 days, I was like, oh, great. It's like March. Or no, it wasn't March. It was like, October, November, December. It was like January, February-ish, somewhere around there. And I was like super excited. And I was like, 100 days. Let's go for 200. and so I got into the gym. That was ultimately like kind of like the bigger thing that kind of drove that side of me. And I went for 200, did 200. Now from 200 and on, it wasn't every day. It was whatever I felt like I wanted to. And most of the time it was 4 to 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people would ask, like, oh, like, is this like a streak? Like, you have like, 200, 300 days that you're going on to the gym. I'm like, no, like, I would be insane. But kind of like every time that I go to the gym, I post something. Just keep me accountable, just to make sure that like people know that, like, hey, like, oh, she skipped a day, like, even if people didn't actually think that, and maybe they didn't, most of them probably didn't, I thought that in my head. 200, 300, 300, 300, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. I think I just completed. And I was like, you know what, like, going into 2024, I don't need this anymore. I've obviously gotten into like a really, really deep level of fitness and physical activity, and became a gym rat, and I got really into the gym, gym space, gym shark, all of those things, and I came to love the gym, and I had a lot of different eras. I had my like cardio bunny era. I had my like super heavy weight lifting, double my weight era. I had the like, I'm more chill right now, I'm just doing it to be physically here. And so I went through all of those, and I was kind of just like, okay, well, now I know that like I love it. I love what I do. And I'm just trying to maintain. I'm just trying to still be healthy, still, incorporate this into all good. Still trying to incorporate this into like my daily kind of routine, my weekly routine, and keep an active lifestyle. So that was a little bit behind the 100 days. And I just stopped doing them because, well, I don't need it anymore. It's not, no one's holding me accountable. I'm holding me accountable now. And yeah,
no, definitely. Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, you mentioned you go from 100 to 200, and then you keep going from there. It's like you just don't want to stop. But yeah, I totally understand the point where it's like you don't need to keep, I guess, track of it in a way, because you're already doing it. There's just no, I totally understand where you're coming from. But yeah, you say 700 days, like that's, oh boy, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's I
mean, it took over, 3 years.
like we talked about at the beginning about how it's like, oh, you need that day, Sunday is the day where you just take a break, you don't do anything. But it's like you go into the gym on a consistent basis, and it's just like there's just no breaks. And it's like, for me, I love the gym. I really do. Obviously there's days where it's like I don't want to go, which is bad.
Yeah.
Because it's like you just like you feel bad. It's like, damn, like I missed a day, and it's like now like you don't feel good about yourself. So I the fact that you kept the motivation for yourself, the fact that you kept going on a consistent basis, and you keep yourself in check. You let other people help you keep you in check as well. And like you mentioned how you felt like you don't have to do that anymore. Honestly, I completely understand, because there's, like you mentioned, you're a gym rat already. You're going still every day. Even if you don't go, you're still keeping yourself in physical shape. You're already refereeing as it is. You're running back and forth. That's physical activity as it is. Along with the fact that you're athletics coordinator, you're already walking back and forth, and whatever the case may be, you're getting exercise either way. So I definitely understand, and honestly, like I said in the beginning, that's something I admire about you. I mean, the fact that you're keeping yourself fit, and you're doing different things every day, whether it's your for example, back, leg days, arm days, whatever the case may be. You're doing it all, and it's something that a lot of people, including myself, should be doing. It's just keeping ourselves in check, and being responsible, and just putting the work in, because once you put the work in, you're going to see changes, and you'll feel good about yourself. And I'm sure when it comes to physique wise, I'm sure you're happy about where you want to be, right? I assume do you feel like you're lacking in some area?
Oh yeah, always. Always. I'm always just like, oh, this could be bigger, this could be better, this could be smaller, this could be tighter, like all of those things. I think body dysmorphia has always been something that I think a lot of us kind of go through and deal with, but luckily I've declined from the height of my own body dysmorphia, so not too worried about that. I'm just like, you know what, if I'm happy, if I'm healthy, I don't step on the scale anymore. I just don't really like my life to be ran by those numbers or like my mentality or self-image anymore, because at some point I gave them too much power, and it deteriorated a lot of parts about me that shouldn't have been, but no, yeah, I'm definitely, I'm happy. I feel like there's always something that like, oh, I could do this. Like,
Yeah.
I could look a little bit better and like, these things. But I think that's just something that like, as we grow up into like adults and, our lifestyles change and stuff, it's something that we're always aware of. Right. So
exactly. And then, obviously, one day we will get the body that we, or just the way that we want to look. We'll obviously get there. We just got to put the work in like you have. So
yeah.
It's like, all right, Nate, I gotta put the work in myself too. So maybe after this, I'll hit the gym. No, I'm just fine. We'll see. Who knows? But Audrie, it's been a pleasure, seriously, having you on. I think just learning more about yourself. Because honestly, before this, if someone asked me about you, I'm like, yeah, I follow her on Instagram, but I just know her as a simple classmate that I had in we'll just go one kinesiology class at school at San Jose State University, and I knew that she was one of, not the smartest person in the class. But that's all I knew about you. And after today, and I hope our audience as well learn more about you and just the way that you live your life and how you've grown up to be the person you are. And whether it is refereeing or participating in sports or going to the gym, I hope our audience has learn some lessons and things that they can apply to their lives as well, because you're just someone that I feel like a lot of people should look up to at the end of the day. And before we go, like I said, I wish you nothing but the best, whether in your career or whatever the case may be. I hope you don't get stressed out too much when it comes to being the athletics coordinator and everything like that. But yes, continue your days on Sundays resting or doing nothing or whatever the case may be. But for our audience, where can we find you? I know we mentioned your Instagram at the beginning, but where else can we find you in case you would like to follow your fitness journey or in the day of the life, as you talked about?
Of course. Obviously, Instagram at audries.fit. LinkedIn right now, a lot of like my professional work stuff. There's a few things coming, obviously, along with this podcast that I'll be posting there. Instagram. All of those things. Twitter, I'm not too big of a fan of, so I'm kind of just like Instagram, LinkedIn. You can follow my TikTok. I post every now and then or whenever I feel like really inspired to make a video. Same thing, audries.fit. But yeah, that's a little bit of like where you can find me and keep up with me and my lifestyle and all of the crazy chaotic things that I do in the best way. I really do enjoy the lifestyle that I have and I maintain, and I try to do my best with it and everything. So, thank you again so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure, such an honor to, talk a little bit about like myself and, where I came from and how I came to be, who I am today and, all of those things. I feel like I answered a lot of people's questions that I get asked quite often. And I really loved this a lot. I think it's something that I can see myself doing in the future, as well as like, talking a little bit more about me and the things that I do. And hopefully, like you said, like being an inspiration to other people, because that's one of my big 3 things, is just to like inspire and motivate people through, the creative that I make over on my socials. So I just hope to be that person for people, and I'm just so grateful that you granted me this opportunity, reached out, and we were able to finally do this, because I know we went back and forth a little bit and it was kind of crazy. And sorry. No, you're getting like a schedule that like, we could meet at the same time and like make this work and stuff. I'm just so happy and grateful to have had this opportunity. So thank you so much for this. It's been great.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, you heard it, guys. Follow her Instagram, TikTok, wherever the case may be, LinkedIn as well, for to follow her fitness journey as we go from there. And we thank you guys for watching and listening. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, wherever the case may be, to Back Up to the Backup. We'll be back. Let's see. Oh, but wait, why am I even saying that? It's because this isn't live anyway. We're so used to being live on here that it's like, oh, we'll see you Monday, or we'll see you Tuesday, or whatever the case may be. But that's not the case here. So we'll see you guys we'll see you guys whenever.
Soon.
I guess it's soon. There you go. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching and listening. Thank you, Audrey, again as always. And
Thank you so much, Nathan.
Of course, anytime. And we'll see you guys soon. And thank you very much for listening. We'll be back and hope to be more. Oh, I'll be back and hope to be more consistent because a month break, I think it's long enough for me. I feel like it's like not going to the gym for a month. Like when it's enough.
Right. Definitely.
Thank you guys.